A very good evening to you. This is an English edition of Dalsan TV. My name is Abdulrazak Ali. Let's have a look at some of our top stories. Somalia Parliament debated on NISA and immigration bills. Over 185,000 people displaced in Seoul. Somalia executes 2 soldiers by firing squad. Welcome back to Dalsan TV. My name is Abdulrazak Ali. The 2 chambers of the Parliament of the Federal Republic of Somalia held separate sessions in Mogadishu on Saturday. Members of the Parliament's upper house have gathered to discuss 2 agenda items: the second reading of the National Security Agency and the second reading of the upper house proposed by law. Members of Parliament's upper house gathered to discuss 2 agenda items: the second reading of the National Security and Intelligence Agency bill and the third reading of the upper house's proposed by law. The bill's second and first readings have already been debated by the council, and the senators voted and approved it. The People's Assembly, on the other hand, holds its regular meetings at Villa Hargeisa in Mogadishu. 150 members attended the session. The members passed vital bills, which are financial procedures of underground resources and the creation of an agency for immigration and citizenship. 148 MPs voted yes. 2 abstained on the bill on financial procedure of underground resources, while 149 voted and 1 abstained on the bill of immigration and citizenship agency. The bills on investor and investment protection and immigration legislation were read for the first time. In addition, the drafts of 2 bills, data protection and environmental management, were distributed to the members. These are proposed by the respective ministries of telecommunications, environment and climate change. The People's Assembly meetings have been called off several times due to lack of quorum. Abdullahi Omar, the Deputy Speaker of the lower house, stated last Wednesday that MPs who did not attend house meetings would be held accountable. Now, the clashes in Seoul, Somalia, have forced more than 185,000 people to flee their homes, according to the United Nations. Political tensions in Las Anod have risen in recent months. Last week, Somaliland government forces and militias loyal to clans clashed and left a number of people dead in the contested town of Las Anod. Clashes in Las Anod, Somalia, have forced more than 185,000 people to flee their homes, according to the United Nations Emergency Response Agency. Political tensions in Las Anod have risen in recent months. Last week, Somaliland government forces and militias loyal to clans clashed and left a number of people dead in the contested town of Las Anod. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, said that despite the declaration of a ceasefire, there were still reports of heavy fighting. The UN's refugee agency said on Friday that over 60,000 people have fled to Ethiopia's Somali region to get away from the violence. This is in addition to the tens of thousands of people who have been forced to leave Somaliland. Elders in the Seoul region released a statement saying that they wanted to set up their own government, get support from Somalia's federal government, and ask Somaliland to pull its troops out of the area. That led to violence. On February 10th, Somaliland's government declared a ceasefire, but on Sunday it claimed that terrorist groups had attacked its forces. On Friday, Somalia Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre welcomed the ceasefire and called for immediate access to humanitarian aid. In Somalia, thousands of people have been forced to leave their homes on account of extremism, violence, drought, and fighting between clans. 2 Somali soldiers were executed Saturday by firing squad in the nation's capital of Mogadishu.
2 Somali officials were executed Saturday by firing squad in the nation's capital of Mogadishu. Abdi was found guilty of killing Abu Bakr Mohammed Nourani, while Shakil was found guilty of killing Ali Talia Arif in Hamarwaini and Balad town respectively. The Somali government previously executed dozens of soldiers and Al-Shabaab convicts who were sentenced by the military court. The armed forces have been recently accused of killing civilians and their colleagues in Mogadishu and other parts of the country. Somalia has been struggling to rebuild its forces, which were disintegrated in 1990 after the collapse of Somalia, Central Somalia led by then late Mohammed Siad Barre.
Now, the Somali President, Dr. Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, has attended the 36th ordinary session of the Assembly of the Heads of the State and Government of the African Union. The theme of the AU Summit is Acceleration of the African Continental Free Trade Area AfCFTA implementation.
President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud arrived in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia Friday evening to attend the 36th ordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the Africa Union. The theme of the Africa Unit Summit is the acceleration of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area implementation. African leaders today gathered in Addis Ababa for an annual summit aiming to jumpstart faltering trade while also accusing on the continent's most pressing challenges, including armed conflict and worsening food crisis. As the continent reels from a record drought in the Horn of Africa and deadly violence in the Sahel region, the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, the two-day Africa Union's meeting will look to address these issues and accelerate a free trade pact launched in 2020. The African Continental Free Trade Agreement is billed as the biggest in the world in terms of population, gathering 54 out of 55 African countries, with Eritrea the only one holdout. And the acceleration of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area aims to boost that by 60% by 2034 by eliminating almost all tariffs.
Thank you so much for watching Dalsan TV. My name is Abdulrazak Ali. Have a lovely evening.